What is up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Tonight I thought we'd do something a little bit different. We're going to have a little toy talk. You know, those collect video games, you like to have nice pieces of shelf candy. So we eventually find toys or get into toy collecting in some capacity. Waiting on our special guest to get here. Special, take it how you want. Secondhand toy dealer will be joining us. Great friend of the channel. And yeah, great toy channel. The link to his channel is in the description, so make sure that you check that out. Because not in here yet. I told him 9 o'clock. I don't know why he's late. Of course, it's 8:58. But yeah, we should have a pretty cool discussion tonight. And hopefully we'll take you down that nostalgic rabbit hole known as toys. What is up, retro heck? Yo, what is up? What is up? What is up? Thanks for stopping by. Just waiting for secondhand toy dealer to pop in so we can get going. And listen, you know, I don't want to give it away, but we selected some questions about, you know, what are your favorite toys and what do you want? What kind of toy? But really, if you think about it, those toy lines in the 80s, man, there were a bunch of them. Not only like Lego, but like G.I. Joe and Air Raiders and Mask and Masters of the Universe and Star Wars. And like, there were Transformers. There were just so many great toys. Silverhawks, right? We could go on forever. These great toy lines of the 80s that kind of fizzled out a little bit at the end of the 90s. And now it's kind of interesting that we're seeing this revitalization of some of these franchises, especially when it comes to you know, the Masters of the Universe, because that style of figure is now being used for like wrestling figures. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. And I saw the Ric Flair one yesterday at Walmart, and I was like, man, you know. But well, we'll get into that here when secondhand toy dealer pops in. Retro Tiburon, what is up, Mario? Super Mario, are you excited about the Mario movie? I have not seen the trailer yet. I refuse to watch it. Because even though I grew up with Mario, I really care about a Mario Brothers movie. You know what I mean? I didn't care about the Sonic movie. Uh, watching The Last of Us, this looks like it's going to be interesting. You know, I don't know if it's going to be a disaster, but there are going to be a lot. I want to know what HBO, what their subscriptions are now versus when they release that trailer to when the show actually comes out. Because if it makes a difference that people are subscribing just to watch The Last of Us, which I got to be honest, I didn't think the trailer looked that great. And as much as I like Pablo Pascal from The Mandalorian, and you know, when I Narcos, man, this first when I found Pablo Pascal, it was on Narcos. You know, he played one of the agents, and yeah, I was like, this guy's a really good actor, you know. And then he played The Mandalorian. We're like, oh man, this guy is going to be awesome as the Mandalorian. And then it's like, why is he playing Joel in The Last of Us? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe maybe they think that it's not going to be good, and they need his star power to kind of carry the show. And I hope that's not the case. See what is going on. Mario says he's avoided the trailer too. You'll check it out, and yeah, I mean, it's Mario Brothers in like a cartoon. You know, like they made the cartoon show. It's not like something that we haven't seen. You know what I mean? Waiting for secondhand toy dealer to either text me or jump in. But yeah, so tonight we're going to be talking about, like I said, modern toy collecting. Most of us collect video games or VHS or, you know, some video games and some other media or something also. You know what I mean? Like I don't know anybody out there that goes, I just collect Nintendo and I'm never collecting anything else. I'm never buying anything else. You know what I mean? I only collect Sega Genesis. That's it. Only complete in box Sega Genesis. That's not the way it works. You know, you're out there at the garage sales, the thrift stores. Hey, sweet, there's a bag of Ninja Turtles. I'll buy these. Or there's a box of VHS. I'll pick this up. So we generally collect things other than video games. And tonight we're talking about toys, obviously, and some of those great toy lines. What are the problems with modern collecting? We'll get into that. I'll just read the questions to you. What are problems with modern collecting? Number 2, how do you budget, spend, or collect? Kind of all inclusive there. What are your toy holy grails? What is not being made that you would want them to make today? And last one, our 3 favorite toy lines. So if you guys have any thoughts on those, share them when we get to those specific issues. So 3 favorite toy lines. That's the last question of the night. So we'll give you some time to think about that one. And as I'm reading this question, what is not being made that you would like them to make? I forgot one, and now I got to write it down. So see, the reading them out helped me remember to feel the magic, feel the roar, if you know what I'm saying. I love those memes like, only 80s video games fans would know this. And so everybody else is stupid? What are you trying to say? You know what I mean? Like, you see them all the time in Facebook groups. Secondhand Toy Dealer so he's getting set up. So cool. He'll be in here. So I just beat Monster Party on the Nintendo last night. So if you've never played that game, it's one of those games that everybody says is like a hidden gem, and plays this time of year because it's horror themed and it's Halloween, so I decided to go ahead and play it. I found it to be very average. So I don't know if any of you guys had that same experience. It's a fun little interesting platformer, but I wouldn't say it's hidden gem. That is for sure. Retro Tribune says he collects Figs 2, the NECA, the Super 7, and the video game stuff. Now, when you say video game stuff, do you mean like the Sonic figures, like the 4-inch Sonic figures, or the Mario, like Nintendo World type figures, the Amiibos, that kind of stuff? Or do you just stick to those like more high-end collector-driven figures like the NECA ones? Because they make like Aliens, Predators, all the horror themed stuff. NECA makes some very high end, very nice quality, well, at least that looks before you take it out of the box, stuff. So, and video game figures, I wish I would have done more of that 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and picked up like the Kingdom Hearts stuff and the Last of Us stuff. And because you look at the prices on that stuff, and how crazy it is now. I don't think the stuff nowadays is going to be comparable, I guess is the right way to put it. Yeah, so Mario, Monster Party is just a platform. You play as this kid, Mark. He's got a baseball bat. You can attack enemies. Each level has like 3 mini bosses. And once you beat them, you get the key. You go to the end of the level. You go to the next level. It's like wash, rinse, and repeat. Level 6 is like a huge maze, so there's only 1 boss, but it's bizarre. And then the last level has 4 bosses, 3 mini bosses, and the final boss, of course, because it's the last level. If you collect the little pill icon, you can change into Bert, who is like a dragon who can fly and shoot projectiles. But other than that, that is the only power up in the game. Like the game just really isn't that great. You know what I mean? It's a good game. It's an average game. I would say that. Shooter is in the house. Says, hey, Chris, how's it going? Checking in and wanted to say hi. Hello, sir. How are you? Good to see you. Just waiting for Secondhand Toy Dealer to pop in, who's known for like a day that we're going to do this live stream. So I don't know why he's still getting ready. Mario says, NECA horror mostly, but also WWE, Mattel, WWF, Hasbro, some video game figs for some of my favorite games like Bioshock, Dead Space, Twisted Metal, etc. Okay. So you got a little bit of everything going on in there. So yeah, very cool. I usually just stick to the Lego stuff because I like it a lot, and the Micro Machines for sure. Micro Machines is amazing, and the Star Wars Black Series figures, and I like the carded figures, but I think they're too expensive for what they are. But yeah. like I said, we'll get into that here in a little bit. They may watch Alabama lose at Tennessee. What a game. Dude, there are some smoking hot chicks in Tennessee. I'll tell you what. Crazy town. Do I display my micro machines? Not in this space. If I ever get another game room that I can set that stuff in, up in, I definitely would. And what I think would be cool is to have like, because I've got like display cases. I want to get one of those like cylinder ones that like rotate, and put micro machines on there, and then every month or so change them out. Do like all the exotic import cars, and then maybe next month do like all the American muscle cars and all the turbo wheels and monster truck cars, and you know what I mean? That would be sweet. You're the only 10 I see. Yeah, right. I took Carol into the mall today, and they have one of those like I don't know what you call them, like trampoline parks or something in the mall. And she was like, "Man, I want to jump on the trampolines." I was like, "Well, they used to call it a jumpoline before your mom got on it." Yeah, it was crazy because they were storming the field afterwards. They got to kind of go over the wall from where the stands are separated from the field. They're wearing skirts and everything. They don't care, man. They're just, yeah, take a look. Take a look. I'm jumping over the wall. I'm like, if that cameraman moves his camera, I'm going to make a complaint. I'm glad I didn't go to college after high school. I'd have died. I'd have got deed. Yeah, that was a crazy game. Michigan blasted Alabama, Penn State. The Penn State Nittany Lions. And I'm watching USC in Utah right now. Gonna check real quick. Dude, my eBay store has sucked. Where's RetroHack? RetroHack, I think I'm gonna throw some more items up in my whatnot store later tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, expense, man, for sure. What's up, Rhea? Thanks for stopping by. Rhea was playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night earlier. So, yeah, you've been putting it down for Halloween. You play at Monster Party on the Nintendo. It's a pretty easy game. Nick says, are you buy Sony PlayStation 05 or Microsoft Xbox Series X Black Friday? No, I don't do a lot of shopping on Black Friday, and I'm never gonna buy another Xbox again, probably ever. Now I have an original, and I've got like 2 or 3 360s laying around here, one in the box, and yeah, I mean, I really just don't play. Like, I want to play some games on my 360. Like, I've got Bully and I've got some other games that I want to play. I just never get around to it. You know what I mean? And my Sharp NES TV is right there. I've got the PlayStation 2 right here, my PS4 right down here. So it's like, it's just kind of a pain in the butt to drag all that stuff out and hook it up. You know what I mean? I don't know, RetroHack. When are you going to do a whatnot stream? But we haven't decided. Carol Ann and I maybe thought we'd do like a this or that. Like we'd throw up like a $5 or $10 game, and like a handful of like Lego stuff, and let the auction go. And do you want this or do you want that? Do you want the video game or the Lego stuff? And then we were gonna make some boxes of minifigures. We're gonna like box up like, so we're trying to make it affordable too. You know what I mean? So we don't want to do like 50 minifigures for $100 because who's gonna buy that? You know what I mean? So we were gonna do like just sort of a mix match of minifigures, maybe like 10 minifigures for $15, and then we were gonna do like all like a box of 20 all female characters for like $30. So again, it's $1.50 a piece, I guess. But that way, if somebody had a little girl that just loved Lego and just wanted girl figures, that we would have that on hand. We'd make 2 boxes of those and just sell them for like 25 or $30. Just all female figures. So like female cops, female firefighters, doctors, whoever, female skeletons. I don't know, whatever we have in there, and just make boxes of the female figures. So we were kind of curious to see if that would work, but we were gonna do like I said, like a this or that type of auction. I see people doing those, and again, we're trying to get our feet wet and just kind of feel what is going on whatnot and what works best for us. Oof. Utah defense almost killed the quarterback. Yeah, so I don't know, man. So you got a lot of games for sale, huh? Yeah, that's good. That's really good. Secondhand toy dealer, is he setting up on the moon? We gotta get him in here because he's crazy knowledgeable about toys and toy markets and stuff. So he can tell you about his experience with here he is. Okay. Let me add him to the stream. Here we go.
Hey.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Apparently
you're on fire.
Having an audio difficulty here. Let me see if I can't get that sorted out here.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I was hoping I would come prepared.
Double check this. Bada bing, bada boom. Well, I think we're gonna have a good discussion tonight. I wrote all my stuff down in notes, and I was like, man, I need to be prepared for this because I'm gonna be super knowledgeable, and I didn't want to look like a fool any more than I already did.
No, are you talking yet?
Yes, I am. I am
right,
ready.
I see you talking. I don't hear you talking. Let's see here. Must be something on the end here. Headphones. There we go.
Check 1 2. Check.
Oh, okay.
Microphone check.
I'm sitting here trying to figure out why I'm hearing an echo. I've got the tab open for
YouTube,
and
yeah. Yep. All right, so we're good to go.
I believe so.
Excellent. Everybody, this is Secondhand Toy Dealer. He's been on the streams a couple times every now and then, but his link is in the description down below. Make sure you check that out. And I was just going to say, when he gets here, he can tell you about his experience buying collector grade toys from Toy Dog, whatever that thing is that you buy them from. So go ahead. If you got a minute or two, go ahead and share kind of that experience.
Yeah, I've been seeing advertisements for the Big Bad Toy Store, and they have a collector grade selection. I think you pay it's only like $3 or $4 more, depending on. Now, I imagine if you're buying like a $200 statue, they probably want a little more than $3 or $4 to send you the best that they have. But they took really good effort to put this in its own packaging. I mean, like if I had 3 or 4 different figures, they would put each figure in bubble wrap in a box and then put that all in another box and bubble wrap that. And so, I mean, everything was very well packaged, but even beyond that, everything was like unpunched, extremely crisp edges, just beyond, like if you were like, I want to send whatever I'm going to buy into grade, I would expect it was going to grade extremely high because of their selection process of that one there is a little bit of crinkled up, so we're not going to put that in the collector grade bin to ship out for a little extra fee. And I was really impressed with the 2 purchases that I've made from Big Bad Toy Store with the collector grade.
Yeah, watch your unboxing videos, and everything that comes out of those boxes looks like it's packaged very well. Looks like it's packaged with care, and of course the figures, the packaging of the figures. There's no like dings, dents, wrinkles, bumps, anything like that, pitting marks or anything like that on the cards or the blister packaging. So it all just comes out and looks absolutely amazing. Ray is saying, have you ever gone to a Comic Con? I have not. Or do you collect con exclusive toys? I do not, just because of the expense. How about you?
There's been a couple that I have wanted to pick up, but like you said, the extra expense. I imagine that you might pay a little bit of a premium being there and buying a Comic Con exclusive toy, but boy, they mark that up when they put that on the secondary market, and I've just
Absolutely.
never. I mean, like, there's a couple things that I've had my eye on, and they're on my bucket list, but I haven't. I haven't
Yeah.
taken the time to buy anything yet.
And there's no way, I know they do like the Funko exclusives, but the Lego minifigure exclusives, there's no way. There's absolutely no way that you're going to be able to justify, unless you're some kind of investor or something, paying $1,500 to $2,500 for a Lego minifigure. You know, uh,
Yeah.
that's a Comic Con exclusive. Now I'm sure it's a great investment if you can get your hands on one. But yeah, I mean, I'm not hurting, but it's not like I've got $2,500 laying around to spend on a minifigure.
No. Yeah, I for my own collecting purposes, I would say that I might have two or three things that exceeded like $150, but most of what I buy is like probably $25 and below for
Yeah,
what I collect. So I've got my eye on a few things that, boy, I should have bought it when it was first out, because it has gone up. Which kind of comes to one of your points there, like, what is the modern toy collecting, or however you worded that. How did you word that? So I
yeah. So
answer.
I guess we'll just get right into it if nobody has any objections. But Wood says thanks for the micro machine. Yeah, we did a trade on the trade show, and I stuffed in a vintage micro machine form. They are sweet to look at, I will tell you that. And Mario says he only found the original TMNT San Diego Comic Con figs that come out years ago. You're talking about the black Leonardo on the skateboard, because that is incredible. If you did. So yeah, so the first thing I figured we'd talk about, like, this bleak, like, what's the problem with modern collecting, and then go to some happier stuff. What do we want to see made? What's kind of our favorite stuff? Some of the stuff that you wanted to throw in, like what's not being made that you want to be made. But let's just start with the problem with modern toy collecting. Since you're the secondhand toy dealer and you buy tons of toys, in your opinion, what is the problem with collecting toys in 2022?
Um. Well, I think that there's definitely some distributor issues, as far as like Hasbro saying this is when this will be released in this quarter of this year, and then it doesn't get released at that point. Things getting released before they're expected to be released. So I think that there's some distributor problems as far as them knowing when to or how they're going to deliver the items. And then, you know,
Yeah, we saw
I
that with micro machines, right? Like, certain sets were only released in like the PAL region, and then we got sets here that they didn't get. So yeah, that's not necessarily a we promise it'll be delivered by this date issue, but it's sort of a worldwide market getting different parts of the inventory.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'd say that, for the most part, I don't, like, a year ago, 2 years ago, there was a lot of empty shelf space. I mean, like,
Mhm.
there was a lot of stuff that just there wasn't anything on the shelves. It was the the checks were out, and people were making money staying home, and they were spending that money. And now I feel like I see stuff hitting the shelves and then going on clearance very quickly after that, because I think some of these distributor problems are starting to clear up, and so they're getting more inventory, and they don't have the shelf space for it, so they have to clearance what's on the shelf, and then bring in what's coming in.
Yeah, and that it's crazy that you mentioned that because I was at Target yesterday and I was looking at the WWE Elite figures, and they make the Ultimate Elite figures that have like two different heads and different shirts and different hand positions. Well, they had Macho Man Randy Savage, yeah, dig it, and the tag said clearance 1692, and I went what? So I grabbed the tag. I literally pulled the tag off of the thing to look at it because the yellow sticker was kind of bent over the top. And it was for the Mr. T Ultimate figures, not the Macho Man ones. But those Mr. T ones came out like a month or two ago.
Right.
So yeah, they are. See, I would agree with that. Things are going on clearance a lot faster than they normally would. Do you think it's because of all that back inventory is now like hitting the shelves all at once?
I think so, and I'm seeing like I'll watch or I'll listen to while I'm at work. I'll listen to YouTube videos, toy hunts, and I see a lot of people saying, I'm gonna wait for that to go on clearance. That's a little too pricey for what I want to spend right now. And so, I mean, like, I think a lot of people are counting on things going on clearance, and so they're holding off on making a purchase until it does go on clearance. So I think that, I mean, like, there are a few things that'd be like, man, that'd be really cool if that thing went on clearance, and if it does, maybe I'll pick that up. But I mean, like the ones that the ones that I'm like, yeah, I really want to pick that up. I haven't been so bold as to be like, it's gonna go on clearance, and I'll come across it when it does. I'll hold off till then. I mean, but a lot of collectors right now are like, yeah, I'll wait for it to go on clearance. And then, I mean, like I'm watching months later, and it did, and they picked it up. So,
and that's what you're saying, right? Is like the behavior during COVID was spend, 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 buy, 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 get it all now, fear of missing out, all that stuff. And now that everybody's got to go back to work, they're not getting their checks, all that stuff. That inventory that's on the shelf is sitting there, and people that are in the toy collecting community or toy buying community are able to access this stuff, a month or two down the road when it does finally go on clearance, or they can add in some extra promotional type thing to get a discount.
now that Randy Savage that had the clearance sticker on it, did it have a barcode on that sticker?
It did. It did. It said Ultimate Exclusive WWE Ultimate Exclusive Mr. T figure is what the yellow tag said, and so those were all gone, and then somebody just put the Randy Savage figures on that, which leads me to my problem with modern toy collecting is the expense. And when they talk about inflation, I mean, I get it, but those prices are never going to come back down to where they were. I've got some examples that I just kind of want to share, but the other problem that I have is like everything seems to be made to be collected. There's no real organic collectability because toys from the 80s and the 90s, they were all ripped out of the package. They were played with, kicked through the dirt, parts and pieces are missing, and that's what makes them so coveted and valuable today. I don't really see that trend with a lot of these toys because they're just being made, packaged, and resold to be collected. So one of the things that I wanted to mention was like the G.I. Joe classified figures. You're familiar with those? You got the Snake Eyes one from Goodwill on clearance. They're like 6 inches tall. They're $19.99, while the G.I. Joe 3.5-inch reaction figures are $17.99, and they're not as good as the classified figures when it comes to parts, pieces, points of articulation, and all that stuff. And then I wrote my notes right here, like neither of those two products seem to be for kids. The Star Wars Black Series, the last example that I have here, is actually worse. I took pictures of it. The Star Wars Black Series Mando with the Grogu was on the Target shelf for $38.99. The Dark Trooper was $31.49. The Tika Jawa was $27.99. The regular Black Series figures are $24.99. And the Retro Collection, the 3.5-inch figures, are $11.99. Now, I did some research at a comic store today. They sell comic books, Dungeons & Dragons, action figures. It is literally better to buy Black Series figures that are already out of production because they are cheaper than the figures that you can find at the store. So I saw an Asajj Ventress at the comic store today that was $25. That would be cheaper than buying a Dark Trooper at $31.49 today. So I just think that they're taking advantage of the consumers and with the prices and with the quality and what you're getting. Like none of those toys are for kids. And if they're not marketing towards kids, because a kid's not going to go into Target with $38 and say, I want that Mando and Grogu, and I'm going to keep it in the package for 30 years. It's a crazy town. So, yeah, I just kind of want to hear your thoughts on the expense and that disparity between those bigger figures and the smaller figures. They're essentially the same price.
I mean, honestly, I think that the figures that are out now, you may see some variance in like what you bought it for versus what it will be worth. I actually have one here that I brought out for a example. This is a DC multiverse, the Grim Knight, and it's like Batman. He's got a bunch of guns and like realistic guns, and I think, if I understand correctly, McFarlane has since said we will no longer be putting firearms in any of the accessories for action figures, or at least they're not going to be putting in realistic looking ones. I mean, there's a grenade launcher in here, there's an MP5, there's an M16. I mean, like there's some really nice detailed 6-inch action figure scale firearms in this package. I picked this up on clearance for like $18, and I was listening to a video on YouTube where they're saying that this thing is going for $60 to $80 because it had so many guns in it, and people want those guns for taking pictures of their other action figures because they're now sending GI Joes out with Nerf guns. Literal Nerf guns. I saw one of the new carded GI Joe action figures, the 6-inch scale that they just released in the last month, and I think it was Baroness had a Nerf gun that I think it was the Rapid Strike or whatever it was. I mean, it was just a black version of that Nerf gun. And on the one hand, I kind of feel like that is kind of cool that they've got Nerf guns in GI Joe action figures, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, we've gotten so PC that we can't dare put guns or something that might be politically offensive to somebody else in an action figure, even if it's an action figure that's action oriented. So I didn't purchase this figure with the intention of it ever going up in value. I mean, I bought it for less than 20, and my understanding from that video is I could sell it for $60 to $80 on eBay right now. And I mean, that's intriguing and kind of fun, but I think that the majority of the figures out there that sold like this, I would say that probably from what I'm seeing, a third of these are going to be collected by guys like me who keep things new in package, mint on card. And then 2/3 of them are guys who are taking them out of the package and displaying them on a shelf, and maybe even taking some pictures and like photographing action figures in different poses. So I think that for this to ever command the kind of pricing that Star Wars figures from the 80s and 90s are commanding now, I mean, like I remember having the little Jawa that had the vinyl coat on it. And now, I mean, like new in package, those things are going for ridiculous amounts of money. Yeah. And I'm sitting here thinking, I owned that. I mean, I had one. At one point, it was given to me as a gift. I had it on card back. I don't know what the condition would have been. Right. But I mean, like, I would have never have thought that a $2 Star Wars action figure could bring $10,000.
That's not organic collectability, you know.
And so, but something like this, I don't really think that this is ever going to be worth 200, 500, 1,000, 10,000. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
but I do think that if I buy this action figure for $20, and I mean, Batman is still relevant 10, 15, 20 years from now, I think I'll be able to sell it for every bit of money I have in it. And for me, that's kind of where I look at the modern collecting of action figures as like a I'm buying this to display for fun. I enjoy the atmosphere of that room that I'm setting up with all the action figures and collectibles around me. I mean, like it's just a fun hangout spot. I'm building this fun place to be. And someday when I decide, you know what, I'm going to move on, I'm going to pick another hobby or interest to invest money in, I'm kind of hoping that at the very least, I could just get my money back out of it.
Mm.
And I mean, like if you're like a DVD collector or I mean, you go to the movies, you spend that money to go to the movie, and that $16, you can't sell that ticket stub for anything at any point in the future. Right now, I've got a hobby where I go out and buy an $18 action figure, and I'm guessing 10, 15, 20 years from now, if I ever decide to liquidate my entire collection, I probably get all of my money back out of it. I got all that enjoyment out of it for almost no cost. So,
Sure.
I mean, like that's how I look at it. But I mean, I know there's a lot of guys that are picking this up and be like, this thing is going to be worth $2,000 in 10 years. It's going to be awesome. And I mean, like, and maybe there are some action figures out there that will command that kind of price. But
For sure. And, you know, back in the 80s, too, we didn't, and especially in the 80s and the 90s, it was more of a 90s phenomenon to buy all this stuff up and keep it in the package. There weren't a lot of people back in 1982 going, I'm going to buy 10 cases of Empire Strikes Back figures and just never open them because I know that was sort of a 90s thing when it, you
right.
know, Beanie Babies and the McFarlane toys, that first wave that spawned, the Star Wars, the Power of the Force stuff. That's when it was, well, these old toys from the 80s will pay for my kids' college. If I do the same thing in the 90s, it'll also pay for my kids' college. And it just didn't turn out that way. Again, organic collectability. They say that there are probably more of the Star Wars Power of the Force action figures from the mid 90s, 95, 96, that are still in the package that were ever opened up.
Yeah.
Everybody kept them in the package. So if you guys want to share your thoughts into the chat, what are some of the problems with modern collecting? I mean, we didn't even really touch on this new era of investing in online sales. You don't really go to garage sales and find a bunch of old stuff anymore. You know, all that stuff's been picked up over the 90s, the early 2000s, and all that stuff. And people on Facebook don't generally put a box of old vintage Transformers $20. You know what I mean? Like they kind of know what they have.
Right.
Which is another, I mean, I'm glad that they're getting more value out of it. But at the same time, it kind of stinks for when you're working on a budget, you know?
Yeah, there really isn't any more where you're going. I mean, everybody is with the internet. Everybody's aware of this thing's worth something. And I mean, like I can go on eBay and I mean, the accessibility of the information and the accessibility of the people out there hunting for it. I mean, like it's connecting people who have the stuff with buyers a lot easier than it ever would have been. But I mean, like that's
like, you know, how much do you want for this at the garage sale? And like, instead of them going, I don't know, give me like $5, they go, hold on a second, let me look it up real quick, because they just have that stuff in their hand. And you know, I also get caught up in what I sort of refer to as garage sale syndrome or thrift store syndrome. Not so much thrift store syndrome now because they price everything accordingly now. But you know, I was watching a video today. The guy brings out some Super Nintendo stuff, and it's like, you know, 50, and he says in the video, these are like $15 to $20 games. How about $10? How about $10 a piece? And I'm thinking, and the guy's like, oh, I couldn't do that. And I'm thinking, you're getting a 33 to 50% discount, and that's not good enough for you. You know what I mean? Like we're at that. I should be able to get everything for $1, and we're just not at that point anymore. You know?
Right. Well, and another thing that I think as far as like modern collectability is relevance. Like you saw, I sent you a picture of this Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant action figure.
That's so awesome. I was looking for that at Walmart.
And I mean, like I look at this and I'm like, that's really cool. I picked it up for $18 and some change. And I looked it up on a lot of these toy retailers, and they're selling it for $27. So I feel like I probably got a good deal. I don't know if it was mismarked or if they're clearancing it already. I hadn't
Sure.
seen it anywhere else, but I look at something like this and I'm like, okay, so I picked this up for $20. And if I decide I want to sell it in 5, 10, 15 years, I mean, who am I selling it to? I mean, I mean, Hulk Hogan's not going to wrestle anymore. Andre the Giant has passed.
Mhm.
So, I mean, like the demand for this, I'm guessing, is already on the decline. There's probably a few, I mean, like Gen X collectors out there that are like, oh, that's really cool, pick it up. But I don't think that you can pick this up as an investment piece thinking it's going to go up in value, at least for very long, because I mean, like the people who have interest in this, who know who this is. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like we're getting older, and I mean, like the younger, the millennials, and then the generation after that, and the generation after that, they're gonna look at this and say, I don't know who that is, and I couldn't care less about that on a garage sale. I mean, like, so I
Yeah.
wonder, is
I'm,
there
I'm-
eventually going to come a point where you're just going to see a bunch of this stuff on garage sale? I mean, like tables, and nobody wants it. They can't hardly give it away.
yeah, maybe. I would say because I've got like 3 of the Hulk Hogan lunch boxes from back in the day with the thermos and the paperwork, and unfortunately, it's like this. But when he dies, that stuff will see an increase in price, and then it'll drop again afterwards. You see that all the time with celebrity merchandise. But yeah, so I mean, I love that because WrestleMania 3 is awesome. I don't know. I'd have to look to see if that particular championship belt that's in there, how many sets that was released in. But people also don't set collect as much anymore.
All
So
right.
when they release 5 figures in the new WWE Elite line, and it's like, well, I like Lex Luger and I like Ric Flair, but I don't care about these other characters. They end up being those peg warmers that are out there. So
Right.
but if you didn't care about them now, you're probably not going to care about them in the future because you don't really care about set collecting. But speaking of collecting, we'll just move along to our second question. I'll let you lead. How do you budget your money? How do you spend your money? How do you choose what you're going to spend it on? Whether it's this week I'm going to buy wrestling versus Lego, and how do you prioritize what you collect?
I the last couple of years for me has been a odd experience, and I'm not even out of it just yet. So a couple of years ago, my wife and I sold our house, and we were living in an apartment, which you would think would be a cheaper way to live than having a house payment, but we actually paid twice as much for our apartment as we did for our house payment. And while we were hunting for a house, we finally purchased a place, and we're getting unpacked and settled, and a couple projects around the house done. But I still don't even have the first box unpacked for my collectible room yet. I mean, I'm still in the demolition stage of this. So I mean, like I was telling my wife, I was like, I don't know if I have twice as much stuff as I have room for, or half as much stuff as I'm going to need to fill this room up. I have no idea.
Right.
So generally speaking, if I knew more than anything, it's the room than it is the budget, because I only collect what I have room for.
Okay.
And the room that I have right now, I'm going to have more room from ceiling to floor than I did in my previous collectible room. So I mean, like for me, it wasn't so much I got to get that thing because that's awesome. That is cool. But is there something that I'm willing to kick loose out of the collection so that I can put this on display? And generally speaking, when I would find something that I wanted to pick up to put on display in the collection, the thing that got bumped out of the display would, generally speaking, pay for the next thing.
Okay.
And I'm kind of an opportunist. So I don't know if you saw the video for this, but this is the new windowless packaging that
I
Hasbro is
did.
pushing.
I did. I think that looks disgusting, by the way.
This right here hasn't been on store shelves for a month. It hasn't even hit my local Walmart yet, but the neighboring Walmart marked it down. I mean, it's already on clearance. So, I mean, like, most of the time when I'm buying something for display in my collectible room, I'm finding it on clearance at a steep discount. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, if I had my room set up right now and you walk into it, you'd be like, dude, you've got some money wrapped up in this. And I mean, like, that's probably true for some of it, but a lot of it is, I mean, I got it at a really steep discount. I've been saying it for months that I don't need anything more Nerf in my collection. It's overrepresented in my collection. This is a $75 Nerf gun. I picked it up on clearance at Walmart.com for $23, and I was like, they've already marked it back up. I mean, it was like it was on clearance for a day. I mean, like I feel like you just gotta like kind of pay attention and kind of just
Twice
keep
a day.
checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep checking because Walmart does some crazy stuff. And so as far as like budgeting, I mean, like if I see something that was a $75 item for $25, generally speaking, I'm going to pick it up because I know the thing that I got to bump out of the collection, that's going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And I mean, now I've got a $75 item in my collection instead of the two $10 items that I kicked out of the place to make room for that.
Yeah. So and with like the Nerf stuff, so like your perspective is much more of a catch and release. I can wait till it's discounted or on clearance to get it. It's like you're not like you're running to Toys R Us to Target on like release day and being like first in line to have that Nerf gun. You're kind of a little bit more crafty and I'll just check Walmart.com every now and then. Once it's on sale, I'll just pop on it then. Is that that's more your strategy?
Right. There are a few things that I am like, I've got to keep an eye out for that because it's never going to be cheaper than it is right now.
Yeah, like
Like,
what?
like I was saying in a video that you commented on, I was looking for a Back to the Future DeLorean monster truck.
I've been looking for that for you.
$4 is all it is. It's
Yeah.
new for 2022. I mean, like
Yeah.
I've been hunting for it in probably the 6 or 7 closest Walmarts to me. And I've seen the wave that it came out in, but I have never seen that diecast anywhere. And so, I mean, like, there is no waiting for that to go on clearance. You can buy it for $4 if you can find it in the wild, or you can spend $10 to $15 to buy it on the secondary market on eBay.
And
So, I mean,
toys that are that kind of cost-effective retail don't really. It's like $4 or $5. It doesn't really go on clearance. You know,
Right.
like Target's never going to put it out there for like $2. You know, it's
Right.
just always going to be that price.
Sometimes, I mean, like, and I would say that's not the common experience to see stuff like that on clearance. There was a few months ago. Are you familiar with those nano figures, the little metal action figures? And they had I think it was an 18-pack of Generation 1 Transformers. And it was brand new, just been released. And at one of the Walmarts close to me, they had it on sale for $11.80. And I went to the next Walmart, and it was $19.97, and the next Walmart was $19.97. I couldn't believe that I picked it up at the first Walmart for almost half of what it was, and then every other Walmart was full price. Well, I've since seen them at my local Walmart, and they clearanced it down to $11 even. And I was like, well, shoot, if I would have waited, I could have gotten it for cheaper. Then they clearanced it from $11 to $8. And I was like, I don't really need to. And I mean, like, there's no sense in me trying to get my $11 back out of the first one and buy it for $8. And I was showing my wife this morning that they still have one in the clearance section for $8. They just got a box of them, and they're all full price in the Transformer section, and you could go to the clearance section and pick one of those boxes
Yeah.
up for $8, or you could spend
Wow.
$19.97.
I wonder if you took like the ones that were in the regular aisle up with the one from the clearance aisle to the customer service and said, I want all of these for the clearance price, if they would give it to you.
I don't know. I mean, like that would be interesting to see. I'm guessing probably not, but
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you don't know unless you go and ask. I
Yeah.
mean, but
So like for that Nerf gun that you just showed, how long Legos have a shelf life? You know, some of these other toys have what's the shelf life of a Nerf gun? Like a year, 2 years? I mean, how long would that gun be, produced and put on the shelves at Walmart, do you know?
well, I'm going to speculate that this would be maybe a 2-year run, maybe a 3, but it's weird because like they're still selling hammer shots, and they started making those in like 2015. So I mean that thing's been on shelves for 7 years, and you can still get it brand new in box on Amazon.com, and they just released like 3 different paint schemes for them.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I
Okay.
just picked one of those up on clearance for $10 shipped, and I mean, like my nephew, he actually had seen me make a video reviewing actually firearms at the time, and he made a video back in 2015 of him talking about his Nerf gun, like he was kind of like trying to imitate me reviewing my firearms on my firearm channel.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, but I mean, like, that thing's been on store shelves for 7 years. This
Wow.
one here, this is the Hyper series, so it's not even a foam projectile. It's a little rubber ball, a little squishier than like a bouncy ball would be stiff. This is more like like a silicone rubber,
Okay.
and it's neat because instead of having a capacity of like 25, you've got a capacity of like 100. And they, with them being smaller, they can get a lot more feet per second out of it. But they're, with them being kind of a silicone rubber, they get dirty really fast. They bounce like a pinball in a pinball machine. So you fire 100 rounds, you may find 60 of them to pick back up and put back in your gun.
Yeah.
So I don't think that ammunition is doing well. And I think that 6 to 12 months from now, I don't think you'll be able to find them on the shelf anymore, because I don't think that they're that popular.
Mm.
And honestly, I didn't purchase it to ever open and use. I purchased it to put on display as, hey, this is another one of Nerf's offerings as far as ammunition types.
Yeah.
At this point, I have every ammunition type that's offered currently right now. The only thing that I don't have would be like the Vortex, those little discs that they were making a few years ago that they've discontinued. I think they revived it for a little bit, but generally speaking, you can't just like go to Walmart and find a Vortex
Yeah.
ammunition for Nerf guns. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would expect that this one here is probably going to be retired. I'm going to guess in 6 months to a year from now, and
Yeah.
I'd say it's probably only been on store shelves for maybe 6 months to a year.
Okay. And that's kind of what some of these some toys have longer shelf lives. And when it comes to like Lego's usually about whatever, it doesn't really matter what the set is, but it's usually about 2 years. There's some that are a little less, some get a little more or a lot more, but it's usually in that 2 year range that they start retiring those Lego sets and getting new sets out there. The new wave of Micro Machines by Jazzwares, one of Jazzwares wicked cool toys. They got the Micro Machine license, and when they put these things out, it is like it's bedlam. In my Micro Machines group, it is, bro. They got these at this target. Like people ask, what Target are you seeing those at? And I say the one on Hamilton Road in Gahanna, the one in Newark, the one the one in up by Polaris Mall, because people will go out and buy these because they only do 1 or 2 waves, and then it's on to the next set. And even if we get the next set, and they don't really go on clearance a lot. I've only seen them on clearance a couple times. Those Walmart, had the starter pack sets, and I should have bought every single one of them for $3, but I really just bought like the cop ones because that's what I like. But yeah, when it comes to these toys, that FOMO, man, that fear of missing out is a real thing. And when they're going to make something in very short, limited print runs, I prioritize that when we're talking about how do we collect. I prioritize stuff like that over things like Star Wars Black Series figures because I can get 2 sets of world packs or 4 or 5 sets of starter packs for one Black Series figure. So a more limited production run micro machine for a same price as a Black Series figure somebody's gonna buy it and it's gonna sit in a box, for 25 years and it's not really gonna raise or lower in value.
All right.
That's sort of how I prioritize. But when it comes to how we collect, I do the micro machines, the Star Wars Black Series, but I only do like the Mando helmets and the lightsabers. And then for wrestling stuff, I only pick up the wrestlers that I like or I grew up with. I don't get like the John Cena's and the Roman Reignses, and that's just all like cost savings. You know what I mean? Like trying to save a couple bucks here and there, or because I always say even the video game stuff, like collect what you love. So if you're passionate about it, then collect it. But they make so much garbage and it's overpriced, and you can't really collect everything now, which is sort of another problem that I have. Hold on a second. I'm going to grab something that I got yesterday.
Well, to fill in some dead space while he's getting that, there was a Lego set, the Barracuda Bay. It was the Lego pirate ship it was Lego Ideas, and it's probably the thing that I spent the most money on a single item. It was $214 after tax and shipping. Big heavy Lego set, and I wanted to buy 2 because it creates like this fortress that was made out of a pirate ship. So it looks like a pirate ship run aground, and they broke it up into like a pirate fortress then. And you could put it back together and it would look like one of the original 1980s Lego pirate ships, which they go for a bunch of money on the secondary market if you can find them on eBay.
Yeah, for sure.
And so $200 for a very close replica of what you would have seen from the 80s. You'll spend $300-400 on one that's not new in the package. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to wait for that thing to hit clearance, and I'm going to pick up another one and put it together and display it new in package and all put together.
One to rock and one to stock.
Yes, and I missed it by that much. They dropped the price down to $160, and I was like, oh man, I wish I would have bought 2 of them at that price. I kept looking to see if they'd come back in stock, and they never did. And there was some speculation that they retired it because they were going to send out a new Lego Pirates line.
Yep.
And I still haven't seen anything. So that would have been I would have been excited about that if they would have released a whole new series of like, here's a $10 pirate set, here's a $15 pirate set, and all the way up.
There are some pretty sure things in Lego, like anything that's railroad oriented, anything that's pirate or Knights themed, and space stuff is always crazy. But we talk about collecting and how we choose to spend and where we're sourcing. I found that it's hard to source anything good Lego, get any good deals. I mean, obviously retail is going to be retail, so you're not going to get good deals there unless you have discounts or membership points. And Facebook Marketplace is hard to find good deals on, but I like flea markets and sometimes garage sales. So I was at the flea market yesterday, and the guy put out a bunch of Lego stuff, the Star Wars character encyclopedia with the Boba Fett prototype figure still in there. Now this book is like $4 or $5, but with this minifigure still in there, there's people that are trying to sell these for like $100 and something because this minifigure is like a $50 minifigure, and it's a beautiful book. I wanted the book anyway. It's got full color like pictures of the figures and tells you about them. But sourcing at the flea market turned out to be really good. This was $6.
Yeah.
For this book. with that minifigure, which is absolutely crazy. And right underneath it, he put a bunch of sets together and then put them in bags, And I saw this set for $10, and I was like, I gotta have it. Since you were talking about Lego ideas, it's a set 2131-2. It is Women of NASA,
Huh.
which is a very cool set, and it came out in 2017. So this set's already retired. But not only is it space theme, but it's female oriented. All the minifigures are exclusive prints. The manual's like this thick with little blurbs about them in there. And I thought, for $10, this is a great set. And if you have Lego investors or maybe nieces or daughters that are into space, that are into Lego, women's history type stuff, this checks all of those marks. And it's sealed. It's like a $30 set. You can go on eBay right now and get it for like $30-$40. So just want to make you guys aware of that. But it's a very cool set. So I source at the flea market a lot. That's where I've been getting a lot of my retro micro machines. I made a contact, and he'll buy them for dirt cheap, and then he'll resell the micro machines to me for $2. I'm getting a good deal. He's getting his money back plus some. So it works out really well.
The last live stream, Matt had a stunts motorcycle, the bathtub, and I went right out and picked one up.
Yeah,
they only had 2 left, and I grabbed them both. I was gonna do a video.
I hate that line's going out.
I think it is, but I mean, like a bathtub motorcycle. That's so bizarre, but so cool.
And I think those packs are going to be pretty valuable in the future because all those parts and pieces, pretty much all of them that are like printed on and stuff, they're like exclusive. So you're not going to find a bathtub motorcycle. Where have you seen a bathtub in Lego ever before like that? You know what I mean?
Right.
And those packs are like, $7, and sometimes they're on clearance at Walmart for $5. And it's like, man.
Well, and even like there's a rubber duck in there. So I mean, like I bet the rubber duck probably goes for $3 or $4 on eBay. I mean,
yeah, depends on yeah. But and I really like that concept. You pull, it's old school. You pull them back, you let them go, and they, just like the old cars that we had back in the 80s.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are moving at a fiery pace. Anything to add with the, how do you budget or spend your money or type of stuff that you collect?
For me, it's just clearance. I mean, that's where I spend the majority of my money. This past week, I picked up. I don't really buy Funko Pops, but I found the Soup Nazi, and it was at GameStop, 50% off all their clearance, and then my $5 coupon, I picked it up for less than $1.
Great.
So I mean, like, and that's the one thing that I can appreciate about Funko Pops is that they make figures of stuff that's never been made before and probably will never be made again. So if you're ever wanting to pick up the Soup Nazi action figure, this is your one and only chance to do it.
Yeah. Well, that segues perfectly into the next question, the question that you brought out. What is not being made that you would want? And I have 2 things written down, and I'll start. Micro Machines really crapped the bed with this new line on the playsets. The playsets are uninspiring. They're terrible. Series 1, 2, and 3, they're all rehashes, just repainted, maybe 1 or 2 features. But they went with a vertical style playsets, which are terrible for Micro Machines. I wish they would have brought the Travel Cities back, the little clamshells that open up that you can put the little parts on. And I wish they would have done that. But so that was my first want, is that I wish that the new Micro Machine playsets would be more flat. So, you could drive the cars around them and not up and down them.
Yeah.
What did you have?
I would at the tip top of my my list would be you're familiar with the Transformers robot enhanced design figures. They don't transform. They are just action figures of the robot mode. But they make it so that they're very articulated. You can pose them, I mean, like in ways that you couldn't accomplish with a actual transformer that went from the alt mode to the robot mode, but they're just really detailed. And I would love to see them make a wave of combiners so that you would see Devastator in his combined action figure, but in a very detailed, posable, articulate action figure, and then do ones because Devastator's been out several times in several different forms.
Yeah.
Um, Super 7 has their reaction figures, and they had one that was a little taller that was Devastator. And then there was a what was that line? Heroes of Cybertron, where it's like a GI Joe scale action figure, and both of those were good in their own right, but they weren't as good as what these robot enhanced the Transformers Red series would be. So that would be something I would love to see is the combiner robots of the Red series and see those. And I wouldn't even care if they were to scale like Optimus is a 6 or 7 inch action figure. I wouldn't need it to be that much bigger. Just make me the 6 or 7 action since 6 or 7 inch action figure of those combiner robots. That would be cool.
Yeah.
And then probably my second thing would be a very detailed Gunstar from
Okay.
the Last Starfighter. I mean,
All
like
right.
I can't. I mean, there's some 3D printed ones on eBay, but I can't believe that nobody made. I mean, that nobody has done that yet. And
For as beloved as the Last Starfighter is, getting a Nintendo game and like that's it seems like the entire fandom of Last Starfighter got gypped. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't really get any cool action figures. They didn't get any like retro revisited action figures. They didn't get like new video games. Like, you have the Nintendo. Be happy.
I wonder if eventually Super 7 will make some reaction action figures for
Yeah.
that line. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. My second thing, man, my favorite thing when I was a kid was Thunder Cats. I loved Thundercats. And when, not like the new Ghostbusters from the 80s, like the new Ghostbuster stuff that came out like a couple years ago, they made like the proton packs and everything. My friend Brett Hamilton is a big Ghostbusters fan. And I saw his face like, oh my God, gotta have this one, gotta have that one. And I would be the exact same way with Thundercats, man. I loved the Thundercats, man. I want the tank, I want Panthro, Chitara, like everything. I want them all. And I would totally buy them all. I would sell my Exo Squad.
So, but would you want them in a 3 3/4? Or you want them in 6 inch? Like, what scale would you want them in?
Yeah, I want them like the original size.
Okay.
Like whatever that. I think it was like a 5-inch size because they weren't as big, but they were bigger than GI Joe, obviously.
Right.
And they were a little
bit
like
a He-Man kind of scale.
Yeah, they were kind of taller than that. I think like Panthro was about that size, but his character is kind of short and muscly. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, just any Thundercat stuff. I never really see any good Thundercat stuff out there. I've seen a couple of the diecast things, but I'm not really Hot Wheels Matchbox diecast collector, But yeah, man, I don't know how we get all this retro revisited and this revitalization of retro stuff and don't get the Thundercats. It's terrible. Do you think that having these action figures out now without having the cartoon to go with it, like they did back in the 80s, do you think that helps or hurts the line?
Well, they're available. You can buy the DVD, and I don't think that they're ever going to I don't think that Fox Kids is ever going to be like, let's go ahead and reissue air the old 80s cartoons. Like my kids, I'll be like, hey, you gotta check this out, and I'll play them a little clip of GI Joe Generation 1 from the 80s or the Transformers, and they'll yawn and be like, I thanks for showing me, I'm moving on. I mean, it surprises me how little interest they have in the stuff that we had as we were their age.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I remember
They're all just
I
punching
was
away, man.
I was probably 7 or 8 or 9 the first time I saw Top Gun, and
Yeah.
just loved it.
Changed your life.
And I mean, like, I knew that the next one was coming out, so I thought I'm gonna share this with my boys, and they both got up and walked away. They wa-
Oh,
they made it a third of the way through the movie, and they were like, I'm just not interested. Can I just go do something else? I'm like, okay.
yeah.
And then I was like, hey, the sequel's out, and I've seen it. I think it's better. Do you want to go watch it? They're like, no, not interested. So I mean, like, I think that like with this new He-Man, they have, I think it's a Netflix issue,
Yeah.
and I've heard like some just like horrible reviews on, they didn't like where it went the first season, they didn't like where it was going the second season,
Yeah.
and they made action figures for that line. So they, I mean, like, and I see them, I'm like, that's not what I remember seeing as a kid. I don't know, maybe there's some people out there that are just like super stoked about these new
Yeah.
cartoons and these new action figures,
And
but I see them going on clearance a lot. So
yeah. I have mixed feelings about the Masters of the Universe, the Netflix one. And essentially, if you haven't seen it, I mean, it's been out, so I don't want to spoil it for you, but um, He-Man's sort of like kidnapped or something, like, or he's killed or something. And he goes in like this weird dimension. So like, what's her name? Tila and Man at Arms are kind of the people that are trying to like travel around and find her and do all this stuff. And then it's like, and you're like, okay, that's kind of cool. But then they make Tila out to be like, they do the woke agenda thing with it, and they just kind of wedge it in there, and it feels forced. And I'm fine with He-Man not being the main character, being seen like every single episode, but it just didn't work. But the reason I asked that question is because back in the '80s, that's what carried these toy lines, is that there was a TV show or something attached to it that kids would come home and I would see Moss Man on He-Man, and oh my gosh, there's a Moss Man action figure, and that's what I was buying. And
right.
They created these cartoons to back up the toy lines, and Nickelodeon seems to still do that to a degree when it comes to their bigger franchises, like they did with Ninja Turtles and they did with the Avatar Last Airbender. And again, like, I don't even see those at Walmart anymore because I'm pretty sure they were Walmart exclusive. And I told my son and I are big Avatar fans. We used to watch that when he was a kid. I told him, I said, if we walk in here and they got Avatar stuff this time, I'm buying it all, because you never see it. And the old stuff is like super valuable. Look at the Avatar like Lego sets. Crazy value. What is up, Captain Retro? Shouldn't have been called Tila and the Lesbians of the Universe. There you go. There's Captain Retro's perspective on that. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much stuff that, like, I liked Mask back in the day. Like we had the truck that transformed. Like, it was just all good stuff. Air Raiders, and they just don't make it like that. But speaking of the best toys, what are your toy holy grails?
Things that I have or things that I don't have?
Things that you don't have.
Things that I do not have. Let's see here. There is. I had it as my screensaver for a long time. So things that I don't have would be there was a 25th anniversary GI Joe Ghost or Hawk, that green, like, helicopter looking thing with the jets that you could turn either way and it could lift off and take off. Real small aircraft. I always wanted one of those as a kid. Never got one. And then they had one in like a windowed packaging. And I think it was only like 19 or 20 bucks when it was released as a 20th anniversary. And now it's $100, $130 if you can find one. And that's one thing. I mean, like, I appreciate what they did for that line for the 25th anniversary because they put everything in big windowed packaging. So you
Yeah,
could see the actual action figure and the vehicle, as
yeah,
opposed to some of in the last year or two, they've done some reissues. Not exact reissues, but in the spirit of what they would sell. And most of it was the windowless packaging. So I picked up a few of them all on clearance. I got all of the ones that I have on clearance. I'm not even sure that there's any that I didn't get. But I got all of them on clearance. But that would be on my list. I would love to find a reissue of Transformers Tracks, that blue Corvette with the Firebird on the front of him. There is I think that this was a Comic-Con exclusive. Um, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. It's the Muppets, the band. Animals has got a drum set and all the different Muppet characters, and it's this box set where they're actually like looks like they're standing on a stage performing. And I don't know what it sold for at Comic-Con, but it's going for $250 now. So that's a high on my list kind of thing that I think would be fun. Um, and there's a Mickey's Christmas Carol, all of the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present and future, and I think it was $15 at Kmart, and now it's $100 on eBay. So, um, and then one more thing, I have some. Did you ever do the baseball card thing as a kid?
I did. Yeah, I got boxes of it right here.
So I there was a sweet spot at one point where I don't know, somebody just found like mountains of unopened packs of cards from the 90s, and you could buy them at Dollar Tree, like 5 packs for $1. And I bought a few, but they're not worth anything. And I've been watching videos of guys like even as recent as like 3 or 4 years ago, and they're like, "Yeah, I found this 1993 Score Select wax box sealed," and they open it up and they're just opening them up looking for like Derek Jeter rookie cards,
Yeah, yeah,
and they're like, "I got it for $30." And now you can't touch it for under $80, and sometimes they're going for as much as 150. And I
yeah.
would love to get one of those boxes and open it up like you're in a baseball card store, and you could buy a pack out of that wax box. And just like I love that. Um, like I remember going to like Hills, Kmart, Walmart, and like KB Toy Store, and I didn't hardly buy anything every time I went, but I loved to go and look. I
Yeah.
loved to go and see what they had. And I feel like that's part of that room that I'm creating. I want it to look like a toy store. Like
The
that's what I
experience.
remember walking through the toy store and just looking at stuff saying, now that's cool.
Yeah. My number one holy grail, and I'm not like Mr. Transformer, but a complete Generation 1 Optimus Prime. When that thing sits on a shelf, when you see it at a toy store or at a convention, it absolutely 100% commands attention. Just the way it looks, what it represents is just everything that I feel is good about toy collecting, the toy industry. So a Generation 1 Optimus Prime just on like right over here on my game shelf, just right above the games. Like you're saying, like I'm better than you. I'm on a higher shelf than these dumb games, right? Like just it's a work of art is what the Generation 1 Optimus Prime is to me. And it is definitely one of my holy grails for sure. And I remember I say the exact same thing. I remember as a kid seeing it in the package, $100. Who's paying $100 for this Transformer? Now, you would pay $100. You know what I mean?
All right.
All day, every day, if you knew, and if you could go back in time. But then the other one is one that I actually have, but I don't have anymore. When I was a kid, I had the Jabba's playset, and I always loved that toy. And it just gets lost to time and whatnot. Parents sell it in the garage sale, but yeah, the Jabba playset, man, was so cool when I was a kid, and I wish I had that one back.
Yeah. Now the Optimus Prime Transformer is your ideal situation to find it like an actual G1 new in package, or you're like, I just want the complete thing. It doesn't have to be in the package, just an actual G1, not reissue, so I
Mhm.
can put it on display. And it was actually from the 80s.
Yeah, just an original, loose, but with all the parts, good to very good condition. Throw that bad boy up there. I mean, it just, oof, oof.
So, if you saw, like, Walmart did a reissue of
Mhm.
Optimus Prime, but they didn't have the trailer included. If they did that again, but they included the trailer, so everything that was there in the 80s is in this package, and it's $60. Would you be like, that's a compromise because that's not an actual G1? Or would you be like, no, that represents what I'm looking for, and I would be excited to pay $60 for it, put it on display?
I personally would want the plastic that was pressed in the '80s
Yeah.
over a reissue. Uh, if I found a reissue at a garage sale a couple years later for like $10 and I picked it up, I'd be proud to display that.
Yeah.
But when you have somebody over to your house and you're like, yeah, that's an Exo Squad that was made in 1982, or that was a Hulk Hogan one. Like when it's all original, I feel that there's a different sort of sentimental value attached to it,
Hmm.
especially if it's like I saw that in 1984 on the shelf. You know what I mean? There's a different connection to it, I feel.
Yeah.
And yes, Captain Retro, I did have the trap door that you could like open up, and there was like a small little Rancor pit in there, little bones and stuff. And it came with Salacious Crumb and Jabba, and the little bowl with the pipe that he's like drinking out of or smoking out of, and the little frog bowl. Yeah, for sure, that's the one.
Did that come with a Rancor?
It
Or was
did not.
that
It did not.
okay?
The Rancor was
I
its own thing.
Yeah, I knew somebody who had the Rancor, but
I
I
have
didn't know
one.
if it. Do you?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. Yeah, it's massive. It's this big. The problem they're running into now is those bands in there are so old that they snap. You know what I mean? Like GI Joes, they just or He Man, they just get so old that they dry
Now
out. But
I am surprised that, and maybe it's coming, and that it with just like the delivery schedule, it's behind schedule. But I kind of envisioned at some point we would get even if it was just a 3 3/4 scale with the proper scale Rancor. But I figured we'd get a Boba Fett riding a
the
Rancor
Rancor from the show,
action
yeah.
figure set, and
You would
even
think
if it was
that's something that Lego would do. You know what I mean?
right,
Like a Rancor build with an exclusive Boba Fett minifigure on top, and a couple little buildings that you could stomp on, and maybe a
yeah,
couple townspeople minifigures, and charge $2,000 for it because that's what Lego does. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But yeah, I mean that's great. I don't necessarily like the new Star Wars figures in general. I think they're kind of cheapening the line by what they're doing. But I do like the micro universe stuff that they have. Those
yeah.
things look amazing. I told my daughter, I was like, take a picture of that X-wing, take a picture of that TIE fighter, and she took a picture. She's like, why are we Christmas presents? Now go look in your aisle. You know what I mean? So okay, so you got any other Grail toys? The only other thing that I could think of is back in the day, Nerf made a series of fencing swords that had a big collar on it with four little targets, and you would jab at each other's
My
swords
brother
and
had one.
try and knock those targets down. That was a ton of fun. So I would love to find one of those. But yeah, Grail for me, G1 Optimus Prime complete with all of its sexiness.
Um, Trying to think if there's another Grail that I don't have. There's some Grails that I do have that I was really excited to get. There's the Movie Maniacs McFarlane Jaws diorama, and I've got a video up on it.
Yeah.
And it was originally a $27 set. And I've seen videos of guys talk about like, oh yeah, I picked it up on clearance for $10 at
Oh,
Toys R Us. And now I picked mine up probably 2 or 3 years ago, new in package, complete with fair looking packaging. And I picked mine up for $218 shipped. And
yeah.
I think that was before eBay was charging. Well, we're gonna charge sales tax on all that too. So it was just the shipping and the cost of the item.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now, if I wanted to find one in comparable condition, it'd be $500-600, 700 for one that looks mint in package. I mean, I'm like, wow, that's insane. That that was a big holy grail for me. I was like, that's really cool. And then the another one that wouldn't have been as expensive would have been a Lego set that I had as a kid, the Lego Lock Up Lagoon. I did a video on it when I bought it maybe a year ago, and it was complete with the packaging. And the packaging was the old school, had the flap at the front that you could lift up and see some of the pieces in a window.
Yeah, those are great. I love
So
those.
that those are two of my big holy grails that I mean, like I looked at them for a long time and just waited to have the right situation where I had that money ready to go and found one that was decent. So
Nice. Yeah, that's great, man. There's so much good stuff out there. You know what I mean? There's so much that, like, sometimes I'll sit here and I'll pop on the PS4, the Nintendo, or something. I'll just pop on like history of, like Lego, history of Micro Machine, and you learn about so much about the history and all the care and love and sometimes luck that went into how these toys were created and distributed. And it's like it, it's a great nostalgia trip, but it's also really cool to learn. And like Captain Retro is talking about Raiders of the Lost Ark, like those Raiders of the Lost Ark toys are so valuable right now. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen
history of pinball?
the new Hasbro releases that they're getting ready to push out?
I have not. They're doing Indiana Jones stuff. Oh, is it for the new movie?
No, they are actually doing Raiders of the Lost Ark action figures. But
other than James Bond, Indiana Jones is like my next favorite thing.
But they're doing it in the windowless packaging.
Oh,
so I'm like, the Indiana Jones action figure looks really good.
But when you have the window in the packaging, you can look at it and go, "Oh, there's a paint smear across his face.
Right.
I'm going to get this one instead of this one." You can't do that with the windowless package, or if all the pieces are actually in there.
Right.
Unbelievable. How do you grade something like that? You're just basically grading the box.
Right. So,
yeah. I showed that to Captain Retro. He was like, "What the fuck was that? A box?" Yeah. Secondhand Toy Dealer. Now is a great time to do a plug. I'll leave his link to his channel right there in the chat. Check out his channel. He actually did a pseudo review on that particular windowless product. And you can go over there and check it out with all of his other great content. But yeah, windowless packaging, man, it's probably cheaper to produce.
It probably is. But again, I mean, who are they making this for? I mean, this was originally, I picked it up for $15.74. I saved $12.23. So we're talking, this is a $27, $28 action figure. How many kids are getting these to play with?
That's what I'm saying.
And if they lose a third of the market because a third of the people buying it are new and packaged collectors, and the new and packaged collectors are like, I'm not interested in buying a box. I mean, if they lose 33% of the people out there hunting for it and buying it.
Because honestly, and maybe you could answer this question, because you buy that kind of stuff to display, to have and go, yeah, check this out. This conversation. Look at this, Batman's got all these guns, and they stop making these. Like there's sort of a provenance to that, right? Like a look at this. And with that box, eh, you know what I mean? You can't really do anything with that.
And I mean, and there's so many things that like with a
Well, we
Lego set.
talked about that earlier, Captain Retro, about organic collectability and pricing out the kids market. It's terrible.
So I mean, like if I want to display a Lego set, that's what I'm doing. Is I'm displaying a box. I
Mhm.
mean, and there's I mean like a lot of Nerf guns. If I display a Nerf gun, it's a box. So there's a few things that I can't avoid. I mean, if I wanted to put a Lego set on display, Legos were a big part of my childhood, so I do want some Lego sets in my collection. And I'm not enthusiastic about putting a box on display. So when I already have to have Legos that are in a box on display, and then they go to something like this, I'm not interested in putting more boxes in my
Yeah, that's
display.
terrible. That looks like that actually legit looks like a model kit and not an action figure.
Yeah,
So yeah, crazy. Hey, Mario subbed to your channel, so how about that? Look at that.
nice.
Wasn't all for naught. All right, we will move to the last question of the night, and then we'll just kind of hang out, I guess, for a little bit. Your 3 favorite toy lines of all time. I have mine listed 3, 2, 1 to build up the suspense. But feel free, you can start us off. And what's your number 3?
All time. Probably number 3 would be GI Joe.
The original line, or did you have like a
Yeah,
specific?
the original G1 GI
Mhm,
Joes.
mhm. That made my short list. Not my top 3 though. But those GI Joe sets were so incredible. There were so many of them. You know what I mean? And the weapons were great. Like they were perfect scale size for a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember for Christmas one year, my parents, because my brother and I were sort of at about the same kind of age, when it came to that kind of stuff. We both got like the Tomahawk helicopter. So we had 2 of those bad boys running around the backyard. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's great, man. So
I
what
I
are your
liked the 3 3/4 scale because it was big enough to have articulation and have accessories and stuff to go with them, but they were also small enough to actually have play sets and vehicles.
Mhm.
And that, I mean, like a lot of these like 6-inch modern stuff, I'm like, yeah, they're fun, but I mean, like, you really lose a lot of your ability to have. I mean, like, can you imagine having an F-14 for a 6-inch action figure?
You know how sweet that would be though?
That would be sweet, but
A GI Joe classified.
yeah.
Having a plane this big.
So, but I mean, like, even if they did have it, how do you? I mean, as a kid, how do you play with something that huge? I
Yeah.
mean, it would be the size of a kid. I mean,
That would be great. That'd be awesome. My number 3 was Lego. The aesthetic beauty of Lego, especially the minifigures and the boxes, and their creativity and their imagination and their ability to always want to innovate their product, but keep it true to the standards that they've had for the last 50, 60 years. The I'm sure you all seen like the Netflix series of Toys That Made Us, and Lego was gonna die there. Looked, it was dicey until they got the Harry Potter and Star Wars licenses and really started to take off. But I just love the Lego stuff. It's just so Lego's for everybody. It is a totally inclusive toy, and I just love it.
yeah.
You have any thoughts on Lego?
Actually, that's coming at the higher end of my list.
Okay.
So
Oh wait. All right. So you went first there. I'll go first on number 2. My number 2 is the vintage Star Wars toys. They always talk about those, right? Their playability, the nostalgia, and just like GI Joe, the amount of stuff, vehicles, play sets, accessories, characters, and I'm really not talking as far as collect everything on card or in package. I'm talking about like loose stuff.
mhm.
You can still find some of this stuff out there. It may not be in the greatest condition or may not come with a cape, But there's a toy store, they sell vintage Star Wars figures for $10 and under, and I think that's an affordable price point for people in our age that just want to have a little bit of nostalgia back. So my number 2 was the vintage Star Wars universe. Would you have it number 2?
My number 2 would be Transformers.
Oh,
Again, G1.
yes.
Transformers.
Great stuff. Great stuff. What do you love about them?
Honestly, like you were saying, they had basically a 30-minute commercial for, I mean, like, this is what's out there, and I mean, like, you loved to play with the toys of the cartoons that you were watching on Saturday morning. So I mean, like, to have something to actually play with that's on TV, I mean, like, that was awesome.
Yeah, and it was absolutely incredible when you saw a character that was new on the show, and then you go to the toy store and that character was already like in a toy form.
Yeah.
How did they know to make a toy so fast? This was only on TV yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't know as a kid that this was all pre-planned to get your parents' money. Like,
right? Yeah.
So, yeah, Transformers are great, and those G1 ones too. That the ones that are like, they were like made of metal, right? Like
they did have die cast in them. Yeah.
It was like, it's incredible because everything now is just plastic, But yeah, very cool. Okay, well, I will go first for number 1, and I will let you have the honor of being the what do you call that? The tip of the spear. I don't know. The number 1 for me, obviously, this should not be any surprise for anyone, is the Micro Machines, the vintage Micro Machines. I look at those as a piece of artwork. They didn't have these computers that they have nowadays. So somebody sat there, probably with a Ford Mustang picture or a bigger die-cast Ford Mustang, and they whittled down a little piece of like wax or wood, and they made a mold, and they did the thing, and they painted it, and they said, okay, well, we don't like the spoiler like this. So, the care and the amount of love that went into creating every one of those vehicles is absolutely incredible to me. There's so many sets to collect, the play sets, license sets, stuff like that. But yeah, Micro Machines for me is the bee's knees. It is my number 1 toy franchise of all time. I will always love Micro Machines, and I'm so glad that they started to reissue them. Whether you can feel how you want to feel about them and their quality, but the fact that they're still keeping the franchise alive gives me great joy. So Micro Machines are number 1 for me. What did you have sitting in the top spot?
For me, it was Lego. I mean,
Lego.
like the variety of like Lego Castle, Lego Woodsman, Lego Space, Lego Pirate. I mean, Lego Pirate for me was probably the absolute tippy top of my, desired Lego sets. And I mean, like, that was when my brother, my sister, and I, we would all play with our toys together. My sister would have Barbies. Her Barbies would be dating my brother's G.I. Joes, and my Lego Pirates were making mischief for the whole scene.
Yeah, and Lego, I mean, the fact that you can have a space set and it can crash land into your pirate ship, which then, floats over to your, ice cream shop or whatever it is incredible. It's all in that Lego system,
Well, and I mean, like, seeing some of these movies that have come out in the last few years, like the Lego movie and Wreck-It Ralph. I'm sitting here thinking, how was I not the one that came up with it? That was brilliant. And so like from our childhood kind of, I mean, like, incorporating all of these things into one movie, it was awesome.
Yep. Oak City said it, the system from the Netflix series. But yeah, Lego is so inventive, and like, there's so much of it that when you run it, like we were just talking about this, like this Women of NASA set. There was so much controversy with this set, and I remember people were like, well, you wouldn't make a Men of Lego set. And it's like, come on, relax. We're talking about like a honoring history in the United States, which is something that we don't even do anymore. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So here we have 4 great women that were involved in NASA in a Lego set, and Lego had the foresight to do that. You know, you don't see NECA or Jada going out there and doing sets like that. That's something that Lego does, and their ability to really push the innovation envelope is something that makes their product so special to me, anyway.
Yeah.
I like the James Bond set, first ever the Speed Champions James Bond set, first ever James Bond minifigure, first ever James Bond vehicle that's minifigure scale. Like I take my money.
Yeah.
Lego is so good.
I've been keeping an eye on that Countach, that white one.
Yeah,
What is it? Are those speed? What are they called?
the Speed Champion set.
Speed Champion set. Yeah, and that Toyota is. I mean, like it's on clearance to $16, and there my Walmart has like 20 of them.
That's
And I'm
crazy.
like, at some point they gotta clearance that down even further. And I got one of those for my son 1 or 2 Christmases ago.
Mhm.
So I mean, like you said, it's got to be on the verge of retiring. And
Yeah,
I liked that car, but I would really like to see that Lamborghini go on clearance, because that's what I would love to pick up and put in the collection.
yeah, the Lamborghini Countach is great. And you know, when we talk about things like Lego investing, you know, there are people that just do Lego to invest. They never open these sets. You know, they don't really care about them the way that we care about them or appreciate them in the way we. Not that they don't appreciate them, but
Right.
we appreciate them in a different way. Uh, Star Wars raised the price of the battle packs from $15 to $20. So Speed Champions are $20. And with the Speed Champions, you are absolutely getting a minifigure scale vehicle with prints or stickers for whatever the car manufacturer is. And the minifigure usually has an exclusive print, you know, on the chest, like a Ferrari t-shirt or something like that. So they are actually just as good of an investment as the Star Wars Lego battle packs because they're the same price. And as you just mentioned, you're not going to see those battle packs on sale for a long, long time, but you're seeing the Supras, you know, the Speed Champion stuff, basically at the $15 price point, which is what the battle packs used to be, you know?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm starting to get into these Speed Champions a little more.
And like I was talking earlier about relevance. I mean, like, you know, I don't think that a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, I would have ever thought that Star Wars wouldn't be relevant at some point. But there's been so much pushback on stuff that I think the
Yeah.
popularity has gone down.
Mhm.
Who's to say that maybe our kids' are gonna be like, I don't what's Star Wars? I don't even know. But cool race cars are always going to be popular. I mean, like there's always going to be that relevance where you don't have to know the characters or watch the movies. A cool race car is a cool race car.
Yeah, the vehicle
So
brand sells itself, like Fast and the Furious 85 when our great great grandkids are, you know what I mean? Like they're still gonna have.
speaking of Fast and the Furious, they have, you know, those little nano cars, the nano Hollywood rides.
Yep.
They're doing nano scenes, and they did the Toretto house, where they have the house and then the orange car in front, the black
no
Dodge
kidding.
car coming out of the barn, and then they have the little picnic table scene with the barbecue in the backyard. And it's only like $20, and they've got this really detailed diorama of those nano car scales. And I
Yeah,
was like, now that's cool. I would love to see them do
that
like
is
lots of scenes, like make me a Jaws diorama in that scale.
yeah,
I mean, like that would be cool.
yeah.
All
Because
windowed packaging, real nice
done
display.
they've done like Transformers, Batman stuff, Back to the Future stuff, Jurassic Park stuff. Jurassic Park one would be awesome. But yeah, it's weird because I think that works for Transformers in the Jada stuff, but I think it looks tacky with the Micro Machine stuff.
Yeah,
Because to me, the Transformer stuff should transform, but when it's in those little die casts, you're like, okay, that's pretty cool. But the Micro Machine ones, it's like, what are we doing?
yeah.
I don't know, which kind of tells me that they're going to kill off this line as soon as people lose interest in the Transformer stuff because that's already a Hasbro owned property. So it's easier to get than maybe like Ford, Chevy, Bugatti, the stuff that they've been running with. I don't know. Just I'm just gonna wait and see. But we haven't gotten any new micro machines for months, and
Do
it's
you
crazy.
do you
So
think that these transformers will be the death rattle for this?
I think so. I think collectors are not happy. Like they're in our micro machines collectors group. There's sort of some purists like me that like the old stuff over the new stuff. We appreciate the new stuff, so we buy it. A lot of it, we like the chase cars, or we like the licensed cars, or whatever it is. And once they started going to this transformer stuff, it's like I'll buy a couple, but I've never bought the 5 pack of transformers. I just bought the blind bags that I knew were gold cars or had the probability of being the gold BMW, which that set was weird too because it's like part transformer, part licensed vehicles. It's like what do you want to be? What do
Right.
you do with this line? And I think that they're getting to a point where if they're going to kill it off, then they don't need to renew, Bugatti, Chevy, GM, all those licenses. So I hope not, but we'll see. And their playsets suck, but I mentioned that earlier. you know.
Yeah.
So, so what do you when you go out hunting? What are you hoping to find? Is there stuff that you're always kind of hoping that you find?
I don't think that I would have even admitted this without having given it some thought, but I find myself going to the diecast section more than I go anywhere else at this point, where I'm looking for, and I think it's because they're doing a lot of like movie themed stuff, TV show themed stuff.
Mhm.
Where I mean, like they did like the Knight Rider car, they did Smokey and the Bandit. I mean, they had a Scooby Doo mystery machine.
They had a '77 Pontiac.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
I I
so
think
awesome.
think I've got one. I think I picked one up. But, and I mean, like, seeing all of these, like, the Hot Wheels Premium F-14 Tomcat from Top Gun. I mean, just, like, they're doing so many, things from movies, and I find that really it gets me excited. And a lot of these things aren't really that expensive, especially if you find like I mean, like I've been seeing a lot of Hot Wheels Batmobiles, and for $1.09, or I think
Mhm.
that they're starting to come up there. I was just telling my wife, like, Hot Wheels have been 99 cents for like 25 years.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, I see Walmart's got them up 10 cents and
At,
Myers has got them up like 30 cents or something. But
at Goodwill today, they had them for $2.99, and they put that stupid sticker on the cardboard.
oh, wow.
Like, come on, dummies.
So, but yeah, I find myself when I go hunting, I go to the diecast section and look for stuff that I mean like is a movie tie-in from I mean like,
Yeah.
and there's so many things that I wish that Jada would make, that I'm like, why in the world did you make a Count Chocula um car with the Count Chocula character? I'm like, why couldn't we get a Dumb and Dumber, like the Mutts cuts, and have Lloyd and Harry in their suits standing next to that dog looking van? That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
That's funny. Showed 86 says he still wishes he had his micro machines. I am dedicating a lot of time to vintage micro machines and micro machines in general on my toy channel, the Toy Freaks. I'm dropping the link, so make sure you check that out and subscribe. Cheap plugs, baby. Keep them plugging. Well, that's really all I have for our toy talk segment. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add or anything like that? I'll drop the link to your channel again, and that way when I
Oh,
splice this up,
no, that's what's been going on around here. So
that's what's happening.
that's what's
Are
happening.
you gonna do a toy room
Yeah,
like
I was actually
tour?
thinking that when I do get it set up, we should do another live stream, and I'll do I mean like I'll go through and show everything how I have it set up, and then your viewers can say, "Oh, wait, point back in that direction, show me that again."
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I can't believe how we've been here at this house for 3-4 months now, and I thought, I'll have this thing set up within a month of being here, and I mean, like, shoot, I've been demolitioning this room for 3 weeks now. I mean, like, I just everything they this is built in the 70s, and they had the cable heating in the ceiling, and I didn't know that, and I thought, okay, well, I'll go ahead and try and run some electric here, and then I'm like, what are these cables in the ceiling? And you start pulling on it, and I'm like, oh, this is in the entire ceiling. The whole ceiling's got to come down now. So everything is just like, if I think it's going to take me an hour, it ends up taking me 3 days. So
Yeah. Crazy. The joys of home ownership. All right, I'm going to drop the link to Secondhand Toy Dealer's channel again in the chat. Make sure you subscribe. It's also already in the description, so make sure you check them out. Cool toy pickups, unboxings, reviews. What's that name of that place that you get the graded stuff from, or the collector grade stuff from?
I have gotten it from the
I always want to say it
Big
like,
Bad Toy Store.
I always want to call it like Big Dog Toy Store or something. I
Yeah,
can never remember that name.
Big Bad Toy Store. But there's another toy store from a YouTuber that he's kind of like. I mean, like, I don't know if you would feel the same way. But if somebody's like, "What's your dream job?" Myself, I would be like, "Well, I'd love to have a local toy store in my town. I would love to have people bring me their collections. Like, I'm getting out of it, and I'll be like, I'll give you half of what I think I can buy it for."
Yeah.
And then just start building this epic little storefront downtown like toy store. And I don't think that that's exactly what he's doing, but he's doing like the online thing. So I think he's basically like a small version of the Big Bag Toy Store, and he was a YouTuber like you and me starting out,
Mm.
and it's Nerd Zoic. So give him a check, a look, because I think that he has I don't think he calls it collector grade. I don't think he's trying to necessarily step on what they're doing, but it's very similar where he calls it minty fresh, where I mean, like,
That
when he
came out
gets
of
a
video. We used to say that in video games all the time.
so I mean, like, he'll get a pallet of stuff, and he'll be like, "Oh, set these aside for the people that want the mint, the really mint on card kind of stuff, and then the people that are going to open this stuff, we'll let them save a little bit, and we'll sell them stuff that's like not as pristine."
Yeah.
But I'm looking to, the next time I go to purchase something online, I would really like to purchase from him and see how that goes, especially being able to support a YouTuber that is essentially you and
Yeah.
me. I mean,
Yeah, right. Regular guy. Excellent. All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for the interview. That was awesome. Thanks for coming on the channel and sharing your thoughts. Link is down below. We got Oak City Gamer in the waiting room here, so we'll start the after dark segment of the show where Matt can come on and we can hang out a little bit more. And if you're in the chat, you can ask questions. Ask us anything you want. You want to talk about toys. You want our opinions on Battle Beasts, or Tomb Raider figures. Let us know. Matt, what's up, buddy?
Hello, gents.
We're good,
How's it
man. We're
going?
just chilling like a villain. Had a great hour and a half with Secondhand Toy Dealer, kicking knowledge, having a little fun.
Enjoying.
I would not have guessed that he had Legos
No,
as
I've been
his
here.
number one toy.
I've been here the whole time.
did you see I
I've been
picked up
watching
one
the
of
whole time.
the bathtub motorcycles?
Yes. I've still got mine right here.
I didn't even know it existed until you showed it to me on that last live stream.
So he's so good. He's kind of hilarious. He's got a giant duck back tattoo. Yeah, it's weird. I actually have these little rubber duckies on my truck. And for some reason, no matter where I go, I seem to find them. I don't know how. Yeah, I was enjoying a nice drink out of my mammoth mug.
Is that a Flintstones movie?
But yeah, I've been doing. Yeah. The Flintstones, Rock Donald's, Mammoth mug.
That's funny.
Where is it? Yeah, it's around here somewhere. I just looked the other day.
So do you still do the Nerf barn battles
You
and all
never
that
find
stuff?
things when it's impressive.
We've been meaning to set one up, and
Yeah, I
it's
did,
actually
yeah.
the ideal temperature because you can put a couple hoodies on, and then if you get smoked in the chest by something like a higher end Nerf rival, something, it doesn't sting quite as much, especially when you got little kids and whatnot. But I mean, like I'm trying to beat winter at this point. I took out a glass sliding door and I'm filling it in with brick to match the brick wall outside. I'm trying to get it laid, all the brick laid before snow starts falling. So stuff that normally would happen is getting pushed off.
Here's what I did yesterday. It's hard to see. It's like a custom grip.
Yeah, which is that a Nerf Elite 2.0 gun?
Yeah, it's a Trailblazer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 8-shot rotary barrel.
If that were painted black, it would look like a Star Wars blaster.
Well, the thing is, like I hated the handle on this freaking thing. Let's see if I can kind of see. It's got kind of like a grip section now, and it's got kind of a flat section.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. But yeah, I got a buddy who does 3D printing stuff. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna scan the piece and hopefully make it available on Thingiverse within the next 2 or 3 months, whenever we get a chance to get together.
Oak City modifications.
Oak City mods.
Was that a Halo energy sword behind you?
Yeah, it is totally. That's a metal one. I got it for Christmas years ago. And then the rest of these are this one
Boomco.
up here. That's a NECA butcher sword thing from Gears. And then all of these here, these are Boomco guns. And it's hard to explain. They're like Nerf guns, but they take a different kind of ammo.
They're narrower, aren't they?
It's narrower. It's got a hard tip, and then it's got like a straw piece.
So that's not foam.
No, it's not. It's a little rubber piece and a little plastic piece.
Huh.
And I don't know why they went out. They were great. Like it's hard to find ammo nowadays, but
Yeah.
I absolutely love Boomco. But yeah, the regular handle on this thing is real tiny, and I just couldn't stand it. So hopefully I get this scanned in, and then I can reverse it to make lefty, because that's righty right there. It only fits in my right hand.
Okay.
And then, I mean, it's not my first time doing this stuff. Like, there's the original version, and there's my version, just smoothed out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
You know. Oh, and you're talking about weird Holy Grail toys. This is actually one of mine. I bought it a couple years back. I bought 2 of them. This is the all black Bumblebee, black and yellow. Back then it was still Mega Bloks, and I have one still in the box. It's over there. I don't want to go get it, but you know, it's essentially it came with a black Spartan, which this one is an EVA Spartan. He's not the one that goes in there, but you know, the whole point is like I always wanted to go to Halo Fest, and this was like a Halo Fest exclusive. So that was one of my toy Holy Grails, by the way. I know that we were talking. You guys were talking about that earlier, and You know, for someone who's achieved some of my goals in life, I at least have this stupid thing. I actually have two of them. This one's for the, I have like a giant diorama with like, you know, action and a bunch of war happening that I got to set back up. I just need like the space to do it. Oh, and there's another thing I have a bunch of.
California
Chris.
raisins. I have the stage, the piece of toast that's a stage. Yeah.
No, I'm looking for that, but this is the one I had to do like a restoration on
Mm-hmm.
because the paint was all like gross and nasty on it, and I had to clean it off, and I ended up using Goof Off, and it was just pure yellow.
I'll go get mine. Hold
on. I'm saying, I remember getting these from Hardee's.
I was just gonna say, I think that they came in like a kid's meal. I was gonna say Hardee's. Do you have one that has a surfboard under his arm?
I've got a couple more. I don't have the surfboard guy, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I think I have him in like a box somewhere. But that's the thing. I was telling Chris that like I have a bunch of this like old Micro Machine stuff, and that, you know, when I find it, I'm gonna start going through some of my old boxes. When I find it, I'm gonna send him some more of that shit.
What's a Micro Machine? I don't even know what that is.
Man, I sent you a little piece of plastic that was way more freaking like impressive.
I'll check this out. It's a Ninja Turtles Raphael window. It's a suction cup window hanger from like way back. I have that in my California raisins bin. Yeah, there's the toast. That's the stage. You can see like where the drum set was. Somebody took a...
It's just retro Tiburon. Oh, hey, where's the whiskey at? I have some right here. I don't have much left, but
yeah, let's have some of the applause. I forget what these are.
I do have whiskey.
They're like these little guys.
And no, I don't. Dude, those are, oh my God, those are so fucking crazy to see that. I have not seen those in years.
Yeah.
What is that, broccoli and a banana lady?
Yeah. No, dude, I forgot what they were. Yeah, we got like 3 bags of these California raisin dudes. And this one says, "I'm yours." It's like a little Valentine one.
Oh, that's cool.
He's like winking.
Yeah, is he winking?
Yeah.
Is he winking or does he have pink eye?
He's got pink eye.
He's got pink eye. He's like,
lady
sorry,
sitting,
I can't be with you
on the beach. I'm sure some of these probably have some
my crap. Holy crap.
Yeah, I got a
that
bunch
looked like my teacher from high school.
Yeah, I think that was a couple set because there's like a dude and a chick. I got both of them. Yeah. I mean, like, it smells like 1980.
What do you mean? Like toxic and volatile organic compounds?
Yeah. Yeah, Mark, listen, man, I got 3 bags of California raisins and the toast that is the stage, the plastic stage piece. So I put them all in bags. I don't know why this one is in a bag, but we're gonna find out. I don't know. Little dude with some orange sunglasses and orange sneakers. I think that's why I put him in there, because of the orange sneakers.
He's a regular one. He's pretty common. He's
Oh no, these are the bendies, the bendable ones.
So I'm saying, here's a bowling one.
Yeah.
Dude, the back of his bowling jacket says "Raisin, your average." Come on, dude. Come on.
We got.
I think his name is Benny.
We got the stage. and then we got the drummer, and then we got the piano guy. We have a whole band. Like this is like stuff like back in the 80s, you were like 19. This is 1988 on the bottom. Like this is stuff that you would just get like in your Christmas stocking, or like your parents would like, buy you a new pair of pants or something and put it in that little box. And they'd put one of these in there so you wouldn't get upset that you didn't get a toy.
I also got a bunch of these things. These are zombies from Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I fell into a bunch of those sets just on clearance. It's like this, right? How many people do you know sitting next to one of these?
A Lone Ranger.
Oh yeah, whoa, yeah. That's a good one.
Well, it's not only good; it's kind of bursting with a bunch of the other sets too. So, I mean, like I said, make you proud. Oh, look at that! You got the bowler guy raising your average.
You got the headband guy with the yellow guitar.
It's literally right next to my charts. So
we got tambourine lady. We got hula hoop raisin. Yeah, too funny. I forget what these are from. This broccoli guy and I'll take a picture.
Yeah, Retro Tiburon. I never got into collecting homies.
Oh,
I knew like several people who collected homies.
Because I think they're pretty cool.
I have a handful of them somewhere.
Did you watch the Vice documentary on the guy that had the homies and the vending machines, and he had like all these little vending machines around New York, and he would go and like collect quarters, like it was a pretty good documentary.
Dude got rich off that, I bet.
Yeah, he's broke now, but yeah, he made a lot of money.
Well, yeah, I mean, used it all on, he bought his mom a house and he spent the rest on PCP.
Okay, what do you think her name is? It's any guesses?
I don't know, but
It's Banana White.
Banana Llama.
And it says rare California raisin, $22.
Banana Light.
Banana White, like Vanna White.
Nice. Oh, okay. Banana Light. I get it.
White.
It's a terrible pun, but I get it. No, I got it. I got it. It's not. It kind of makes me really sad. Makes me want to go down to bed and like just curl up into a ball and cry.
Just curl up into a little ball and die.
Now, do either of you have any of the...
Out of everything in the world, that's the one thing that friggin' made me do it.
Do either of you have any of the Muscle Men? Those little pink...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I had some, but I sold them. I had a lot of like 30 of them. And I sold them for like, I would say like $1.25 a piece. Some lady on Facebook hit me up. And I was like, yeah, if you PayPal me, I'll just ship them right to you.
How recently did you do that?
Like 3 or 4 years ago.
Literally just before the resurgence of the Muscle Man thing happened.
Yeah, I mean, I like them. I
think a moment
cool,
of regret that he can trace back to a moment when he just...
I like them. I think they're cool, but there's really no playability. That's why I don't like Funko Pop, because there's no playability. They just stand there. You can't move their arms or make them really wrestle. They're just little pink dudes, you know?
Oh, I have a butt ton of Mighty Mugs I could talk to you about. Mighty Mugs are the pop figures that were from before. So I wish I had one here. I've got so many friggin' Mighty Mugs.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. And I always liked Air Raiders. I don't know if you guys remember Air Raiders. They had little miniature figures about this big. And everything was like little like missiles.
Oh, I love Air Raiders.
You press the thing and they shoot off. Oh, they were great. I had this big, huge base thing when I was a kid.
Forgot I had these.
Nice.
Ah. You can't
Mario's
see the
asking
important
about.
part.
Where's my mouse at? Ugh. It's Dale Stark, everybody. Dale Stark says, "Yo, what's up, man?" Mario, what about McDonald's toys? McDonald's toys are cool. They don't really. You can always find them. I think the only ones I've got are like the Batman ones. I've got some Batman ones, but other than that, I don't really collect the McDonald's toys. Again, there's not really a lot of playability. Oh, for the California, there's a corn guy and a carrot guy that are worth some cash. I'm gonna add that to my queue. History of California raisin toys.
I still have a couple of the weird little Transformers.
What do you mean the weird one?
The Egg McMuffin that turns into a robot.
Oh, the changeables. Yeah, I got some of the changeables,
Yeah.
like the Big Mac and the French fries and the milkshake.
Yeah, I got the French fries and I've got a hamburger.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I mean those have been like if that's like the mark of quality in my life for McDonald's toys, then everything afterwards been nothing good enough.
Yeah. How do you feel about when they try and infuse
Like those things, dude? They were made of like.
How do you guys feel when they try to infuse like technology into toys that don't really need technology, like Lego? Like they've tried to do a couple different
like that
apps
stupid
and
Mario Legos series.
I like
because they don't really do that with like McDonald's toys, you know what I mean? But there was a time when it was like instead of a toy, you might get like a little like a startup CD for something, you know what I mean? That was kind of big for a time where they would put like some cheap game on a CD and they would give it in a Happy Meal instead of a toy. You know, that's crazy.
When I heard that they were going to make
they're
Lego
doing the,
Mario themed sets, I was excited because I thought we were going to get minifigures of Mario, Toad, Luigi, I mean, all the Koopa kids. And then they come out with this, like, what looks like a preschool toy that they just needed to incorporate the eyes that moved with the. I was like,
it's basically a Brickhead figure.
right. But the thing is, I mean, they priced themselves out of most. My kids loved Mario, but to get even like the very basic starter pack, it's like $80 for a Mario figure, and then you got to spend more to get the different suits, accessories, different play sets. I'm like, they're gonna spend 3 or 4 Christmases just putting together anything to play with.
Yeah, it's crazy. They should have done.
I agree with that. Honestly, I like the Mario sets.
Yeah, they should have done like the set. You know, comes with like basic Mario, Luigi, Prince, Toad, and Yoshi. And then in the smaller sets, almost like Star Wars Battle Pack style, you know, you get like 4 or 5 Koopas, and you get like a Tanuki suit Mario. You get a couple Koopas or something, a couple Goombas, and Metal Suit Mario from Mario 64. Like if they would have done something like that, I think it would have worked out a lot better. But yeah, the Brickhead style figures are absolutely terrible, and unfortunately that's what sells Lego sets now, because you start looking at price per parts, and there's just so much, and it's so expensive that you're really looking for that exclusivity. That's why people were mad about that the Republic gunship that came with the pilot or whatever that has like yellow clone armor or something. Well, they're re-releasing that in a very much cheaper set, and that UCS gunship at the time was like a $350 or $400 set, and people bought it just for that one minifigure. This is going to be the next Boba Fett Cloud City $2,500 minifigure, and now they're releasing it in a cheaper set, and it's like it pissed people off. You know? And then Lego comes out and makes the most ignorant statement they ever made. We don't care about the secondary market.
Well, first off,
Matt, you all right?
Sorry, yeah.
Oh, good.
I was about to say with Lego and technology, I think McDonald's sets they are doing it. They're doing it with their current sets, the toys that they have now, the Cars toys. If you download an app, it plays with the app. You can like drive them around on the tablet.
Yeah.
And as far as Lego stuff goes, I don't think they've ever hit the mark with the stuff that they do, aside from their robot brand, the robotic programming
Yeah,
end of
yeah.
stuff.
That's educational purposes. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you're right. They've failed every single time. The fusion sets, the video sets, they're just not good sets at all.
Well, and they're putting a lot of effort behind like that AR stuff, the augmented reality stuff, and the truth is like if they just had like a basic minifigure collection guide, that would make money for them somehow. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah, and they tried everything with the video stuff because all those figures are like, as far as I know, they're all like exclusive figures with brand new molds and prints. Like they really tried to sell that, but the price point is such to where you're going to price out most children, and people that want to use their phones are not going to be taking pictures of Legos all day. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. And once they started, like even Furbies, like, oh, click on the back of the box and it'll have the app and it'll pop this up and you can give commands via Bluetooth to your Furby. And it's like that's not like you're interacting with your phone, that's interacting with the toy, when it used to be throw the phone over there because there were no phones, and we'd all sit at the kitchen table and play with the toy. That social interaction is completely gone, and I don't think they need to do that with these toys. It's terrible. So,
I agree with that, certainly.
This is bad. It's bad, man.
I think that some of the best McDonald's Happy Meal toys were those little Lego sets that they had where they would get the Lego brand and actually, I mean, they weren't anything super exciting. They had like an airplane. They had like a hovercraft, like a boat. Before they did all of the like McDonald's printing where they would put Ronald McDonald on a slope piece, like back in like the early 80s when they actually would put honest to God Lego pieces in. And that was like you didn't mind getting a couple of them because now you can build something different with the extra pieces. So, I mean, that was one of the best Happy Meal toys that you could have gotten.
And sometimes when there would be an event, like when Lego was putting stuff in the Happy Meals, that was an event. When they did it with the Beanie Babies, that was an event. When they did it in the late 80s and 89 with the Mario Brothers 3 stuff, that was like an event. Like I remember my mom, my stepmom, we'd go through McDonald's and get the Beanie Babies, and then she would pull into the parking lot and then make us go in and buy, because you could buy like up to 2 Happy Meals, make us go in and buy 2 more Happy Meals, my brother and I, so she could have the Beanie Baby figures and or the Beanie Baby things. And it's like, I mean, it was cool when we were kids because we're eating McDonald's like 4 times a week. What's up, Jesse? Thanks for stopping by, man. We're just talking toys. But yeah, nowadays it's just not even, and the toys are so cheap. You know what I mean? They don't really do anything. They're more like you just sit them there. Yeah, those are crazy expensive. I almost bought 2 vintage Lego chests or cases at the flea market. The guy wants $10 for them. One's from '84 and one's from '85, and I almost popped on them. Like, here, take my money. Because you can't find those with like both latches. It's hard to find that stuff.
They're pretty hard to find nowadays.
Mm-hmm. In good condition.
Yeah, both latches intact and the lid going. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I just want to say hey to everyone. Chris, I've been enjoying the show the whole time. I just didn't. I was doing some other stuff here. Man, I'm a busy guy. Right?
Yeah.
I got laundry and I got shoes to mend.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually like this tall, and I fix shoes for a living. Anyway, I just want to say, secondhand toy dealer. I've been watching your videos. I am indeed subscribed. People check out his stuff's in the description. My stuff's all over the damn place. Oak City Gamers. Chris, I love you guys.
Yep.
I'm out. Thanks
All
for
right,
letting me
brother.
show up at the end of the show.
I'm gonna hit you up because I'm
I
gonna
didn't want
do
to be here for all of it. I didn't want to steal no one's shine.
yeah. Well, I was gonna do another one of
Trying to-
these, and I was gonna try and get you and somebody else on here, like maybe a panel of 3. And we were
I'll be here. I'll be here whenever you want, man. You just
and we were just gonna
hit me
do
up.
like 6th generation of video games, memories, sort of more deep dive, in depth into the games. Because I know you're an Xbox guy, and I'm not really an Xbox guy.
Yeah.
So I can definitely cover the PS2. But if we could find somebody that like knows a lot about Dreamcast and knows a lot about GameCube, we have like a panel of 4. I'm sure we can come up with something. But now I was thinking of that for the next episode. Anyway,
Yeah, let me know. I'm
yeah, it
down.
was great seeing you.
I mean, I got Hot Wheel Lego sets. I'm just saying, like I got crazy stuff, right? I mean, dude, I got like a whole like targeting system for Nerf guns that I'm trying to like patent and sell. And, you know, are you talking about
This is
little
what I
tiny
want.
pizza? Like,
I want a Nerf gun.
dude, I know pizza
It's on
stuff.
my shoulder, like a Predator blaster that I can put on a helmet, and then I can control the laser with my helmet and shoot Nerf darts at people. You know, it's got the 3 dots.
Those things exist, man. Like, I mean, I've got. This is my favorite thing. This thing shoots so fast. It's not funny. It's a hyper fire. Got that name because it fires a hyper amount of darts. So, I'm just saying. I actually know a guy who makes those like turret system things that like sit on your shoulder.
Yeah.
You pack them full of darts and you just kind of point and like you press the button and it shoots. So,
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
anyway, I'll catch everyone later. Thanks,
be a great
Jack.
option.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Secondhand Toy Dealer. Y'all sub this dude right here. This guy, sub him.
That
Submarine sandwiches.
Closing in on 1,000.
Woo.
Got
Submarine sandwiches. I'll get there one day. I'm in no rush. I'll probably die tomorrow. Mad love, everyone.
All right, see ya. Matty Ice. There he is, the living legend himself. Yeah, he's a big Xbox guy, so I had him on the stream for a 6th generation because we're getting to that age where the 6th generation was starting to wrap up 20 years ago. It's like, oh my god, I'm so old. Unbelievable. So, well, we've been going for over 2 hours. I think we covered it. Do you have anything else that we want to discuss with the toy stuff?
No, I think we covered a fair amount tonight.
Save some for next episode, maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Check out Secondhand Toy Dealer. His link to his channel is in the description down below. Does pickups, reviews. He's building his own toy room in his new house. Very cool stuff. We've known each other a couple years now.
Yeah.
On each other's channels for live streams. Getting to 1,000 subscribers, so make sure you sub so you can get that all-important monetization and pushed in the algorithm. Sir, I want to thank you so much for being here. Any last words to the peoples?
Have fun collecting.
There it is. All right, guys, take it easy, and we will see you on the next